Hi, I'm Kim.
I'm Brad.
We're 626 Ohana, California, and today we're going to talk about renewing annual passes for Walt Disney World.
Well, I'll also let you know what we went through for renewing our Premier passport that covered us at Disneyland and Disney World since they're no longer available, and it is quite a procedure. So let's start first with what the rules are.
Yes.
One is you have to have a active annual pass to renew, or a pass that has expired during the time they were shut down for the virus.
Yes.
So if you wanted to get a new pass, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. They're not issuing any new passes to Walt Disney World at this time.
The good news is if you are already a current annual pass holder, you can renew your annual passes either online, on the telephone, or at Disney Springs.
Yeah, easy. Do you have?
Yes.
If you actually have the actual Walt Disney World pass, you have a simple.
That's active.
That's active. Yes, you have a simple renewal procedure. Now, the procedure for people who had the Premier passport and those who had expired Walt Disney World passes is a little bit different, and it is a little bit difficult. So we'll go through what we went through to let you know how you do this.
It's a little more complicated than we thought. And it started out with yesterday. We're getting closer to our late spring trip, and we thought, we're going to have to go and renew this, and we're going to have to go get this active so that we can get our park reservations. And I thought it would be, a simple phone call, and it'd be easy, not so much.
Yeah, normally it is. Disney's really good about this stuff. But this case was Kim called about 9:25 in the morning and got put on hold
for an hour and a half. And then, unfortunately, with our son, mom duties call, so I had to hang up.
But when Kim was on hold, she asked me, she goes, hey, you know what? We might get a better deal through DVC, because DVC does offer annual passes at a discount for us, and as with DVC members, we figured, well, let's find out what we can do. I ended up being on hold with DVC for over an hour or so, and finally get a hold of DVC. And obviously they're busy right now because everybody's trying to modify trip plans and everything else. And they basically told me, if you're a DVC member, be aware, is that they can only renew DVC passes. So they cannot do anything with the Premier passport, or if you have let your passport expire, they can't do anything. They only can do a simple renewal.
Which makes things a little more complicated, but at least we were both on the phone and trying to get answers, and Brad was able to get a partial answer.
Yeah, and the nice thing is DVC did give me a phone number, which was 407-WDW-PASS, which is supposed to be a direct line to the pass holders. So that helped me out with, because we had an odd situation with our passes. And so I ended up giving them a call. I ended up on hold for about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half with them before getting through. And fortunately, the person I got was not the pass holder specialist. They've been sending their overflow for those pass holders over to their travel agents. And the travel agent basically goes, I'm sorry, the only thing I do is Walt Disney World renewals. I cannot do anything else for you.
This is kind of considered a special situation. So, of course, he got passed on.
So and they gave me the option to have him call me back or get passed on. I asked to be passed on because I just wanted to make sure we got our questions answered. Mm-hmm. And it ended up waiting almost another hour or so before I got to get through. And finally got through a pass holder specialist that could try to help me. So when I talked to her, she goes, oh yeah, we've seen this, no problem. And I go, well, I want to throw another wrinkle into this. I go, I want to also see if we can renew as a DVC member, because the prices might be better than the renewal rate is for our passes.
And to be fair, she said that we could try to figure that out, and that might be the case.
And she did try to, and it sounds like they're texting back and forth to people that are in higher positions, kind of.
Or a chat or a message of some sort.
And she goes, yes, that they would be able to discuss if we want to do DVC or do the regular upgrade through our passes. And the thing is with our passes is that Disney did offer us a renewal rate for Walt Disney World, not the new rate for Walt Disney World, but with our DVC, we would have to pay the new rate. So there's a little bit of price difference, but we're not sure how much, because unfortunately
they couldn't tell us the price.
Yeah, and trying to find anything online about annual passes right now, it's hard. I couldn't find anything. You really had to really look to find it.
Yeah.
What it came down to is she goes, okay, no problem. We'll get this taken care of. And I want to reiterate before we get too far deep into this that every person we talked to, every cast member, was very nice. So she goes, okay, so well, I'll put in a request for your passes. I'll get everything organized, and we'll figure out the price difference. So I kept trying to ask her what the price is. She goes, well, just one moment, let me go through this and get everything set up.
Well, she couldn't ever tell us the price. She basically had said, well, when they call you back, they'll let you know.
No, and I'm like, oh, and then finally I go, okay, call us back. And she goes, yes, they'll call you back in 3 to 4 weeks.
But
What? Yeah, and this is the issue. So if you have an expired Disney World pass, you're going to be going through the exact same thing.
Or the Premier Pass.
So our Premier passes are still active.
Until March 31st. So we didn't think we were going to be lumped in with people that have already expired or lapsed.
Where they had to put in special requests so they could do it because of their system.
So we have a feeling a few of you Premier Pass holders are going to be in the same exact situation soon enough.
Yeah, and so basically what they said, well, what they're doing is getting to the people that have a trip that are only a couple weeks out first.
So what we got finally out of this cast member is they're going to call us anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks up until 2 weeks before our trip.
That they're so backlogged that they are just dealing with people that have immediate trips.
So I asked about availability and being concerned about us spending our DVC points, buying airfare, and all the costs that go into a trip and planning. And she goes, oh, don't worry, it's wide open right now. There's no problems whatsoever. And I said, well, whenever they renew the pass, can you promise me and guarantee that they're going to still have those openings? Or am I not going to be allowed to go to Hollywood Studios or someplace on the weekend? She goes, no.
Yeah. And basically she was telling us, well, don't worry, you guys are resort guests, so you have that pool, or you could go to the pass holders pool or these other pools. And for let you know, if you are a resort guest on property at Walt Disney World, you can make a reservation for a park every day of your trip if you're on property.
That includes the Good Neighbor.
No. But if
hotels.
But if you're just coming off property, that you are restricted depending on the level of pass that you have to make those reservations.
To a certain amount of days.
Yes.
So that's a little more complicated for somebody that may have, doing an Airbnb or another hotel trying to save some money, things like that.
So
something to take into consideration.
Yeah, be aware of that. So anyways, so Kim was like, well, I'm not sure, we really want to get these taken care of because we want to be able to make our dining reservations and everything else through the resort. And she just goes, there's nothing I can do. And we kept asking, why can't something be done? She goes, I only can fill out a form and send it to these people.
Right, because our point of view was that we are still current in our annual pass, so we could still literally go down to Florida and go in the parks today if we wanted to. So that made us current annual pass holders, and we've been trying to do this since February to make sure that we were always okay.
Yeah.
Through the Disneyland side, because everybody was so unsure and nobody could give us. They just kept telling us to hold on.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we kept holding on, doing what they asked us to do. And it's kind of biting us because now we cannot make any park reservations, but we can make dining reservations inside the park with our passes that expired. We did try to make sure that we could do that, and we can.
Right, because I can't imagine anything worse as getting down there and then not being able to eat at some of the popular table service restaurants that we enjoy.
And if anybody are planners like Kim is,
yeah,
it's got to be driving you nuts that if you can't make these reservations until you have an annual pass that is active during those dates.
It is absolutely everything. It goes against the grain of everything Walt Disney World I have done for the last few years. So it's really unsettling feeling is I can't make my park reservations. I don't know what's going to be available, and to not know what's going to happen. That's just a hard pill to swallow at this point.
Yeah, and another thing is if you did have an expired pass or you have their Premier Pass right now, you can go to Walt Disney World and renew it. Disney Springs, no problems.
The same day.
Same day, no issues. But if you're trying to call in and do it from a distance, it's kind of like they're telling you, well, good luck.
Yeah, so in a way, Brad and I are feeling a little like let down. It doesn't feel quite that Disney customer service and magic that's usually there.
Yeah, and usually they're really good. And I think, in my personal opinion on what they're doing, I think they're doing this on purpose because they want to be able to get through these calls and not have people complain and just say, well, we'll have this middleman do this, and then we can decide who we want to give callbacks at the time because they're so close to their vacations.
But quite frankly, I feel like they're wasting more time by giving us a runaround than had we just dealt with it.
Yeah, and this doesn't feel Disney way they've handled things in the past. And we're being Premier, we've had issues in the past trying to do our passes because we could only renew our passes at the parks before, so we had to be at Walt Disney World or Disneyland to upgrade them. So that's not a big issue, but we wanted to renew them because of this special program for what they need to do.
And we kind of felt like maybe there should be this, that we're still active and things hadn't lapsed, that maybe they should have separated the two groups.
Yeah, and it would have been really nice if we could just put our passport number into the online site and just done a regular upgrade through Walt Disney World with no problems.
Well, and the other thing is I made a suggestion to the cast member. Is said, look, it would be nice, I would feel a whole lot better if we were able to go ahead and make the park reservations knowing that we're on this list to be called back and that we have a resort reservation. We've done everything in good faith that we're going on this trip. And it would make more sense of, okay, so we're going to open up those park reservations to you. And of course, if you don't get your season pass by the 2 weeks before you leave, then they take you out of those.
Yeah.
But I would think that that would be easier way, and it would be more customer service friendly to the guests.
So hopefully they are going to be changing this. I'm hoping, because I know right now Disneyland pass holders are not the exact happiest people right now.
No, they're not the happiest campers in the bunk.
Have you had any problems renewing your passes? Let us know down in the comments below.
Or are you going to have to go through the same thing that we are, and we hope you have a better outcome situation than we have?
Yeah, so this is just to make you aware of what the situation is right now. Hopefully they will improve, and they did say that they are trying to catch up on backlogs right now of the calls. So hopefully that situation, the time will shorten. We'll see.
So we're also going to say to those that have Premier pass holders like we are, that you go ahead and work ahead and plan now. Don't wait till that last minute of March 31st for early summer vacation, because you're going to be sitting there, you're going to be in the same situation we were, and it's not a lot of fun.
Yeah. So get done early. So make sure if you have your plans, don't say, well, I'll deal with it then, because it's going to take you longer than what you thought.
The sad part was last weekend I was like, okay, you know, I'll get to it, and we just got busy. And I'm like, wow, that would have been almost a week off. My bad.
So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.
And follow along with our Ohana.
So with that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye and
Find your magic. Bye, everyone.